Back here on SportsLine, talking Titans tonight on this Tuesday night. OTAs continue over at St. Thomas Sports Park this week. Halfway through now for the Titans. They don't call them the dog days of OTAs exactly because you're not in pads and it's not nearly as long as training camp. You got the weekend breaks in there and stuff. But right in the middle. And so far, Ken Whisenhunt, the new Titans head coach, has been incredibly complimentary of this team, of the effort and the focus that they've brought to the voluntary minicamp back in April, the rookies brought to their orientation a couple weeks ago, the Phase 2 individual stuff that they've done, and now through 5 practices of OTAs. Very complimentary about the progress they've made, but Whisenhunt also cautions that when you have a new coaching staff, you have a long ways to go to catch up to everybody else. So there are no ways a finished product yet.
We had talked about the start of the offseason with the new systems and everything. You were behind virtually everybody else. Are you catching up at this point of the offseason, or when do you figure that'll be?
No, we still got work to do. We've got a lot of things we got to get done. We haven't even installed everything yet, so we got to continue with this process. But I'll say this: they practiced hard today, and if the intensity that they had today, that'll help us. That'll help us get through it. But there's no substitute for time on the field or even just reps. We're getting so many looks, both sides of the ball, and being able to talk about it on tape, correct it, that's invaluable.
Will you still be behind though at the start of the regular season, and the process carries that far into it, or what do you think?
Well, I can't tell you right now. I guess we'll have to see when we get there. I'm comfortable with the way our players are working. If we can maintain that, we got a chance. But like I said, we haven't been together, but how many weeks is it now? 4 weeks where we're working on the field, and this is really only our second week, our 4th practice. So, when you've got a team that's been together for a year and through a season, that's a whole different thing. So we got a lot of work to do. I just want to make sure that our players understand that.
Zach Brown was a 4-3 outside linebacker. Now he moves inside for year 3-4. How is he adapting to that? How does he fit?
Well, I watched him on tape last year play inside a lot. So I don't know if you can categorize him as that. He's an athlete. He's an athletic guy that, the pressure's going to be on him to adapt. He has the skills. So that's what part of this process is all about, is getting him in there and getting him comfortable with it.
You've got a lot of numbers inside there. What's going to differentiate?
A lot of numbers inside.
Yeah,
meaning
inside linebacker.
Oh, an inside linebacker?
Those 2 spots.
Can you ever have enough? You just never know how it's going to go. We're trying to give everybody an equal amount of reps so we can assess them, as well as trying to get work for everybody. It's a good problem to have, but I don't think, I'm not going to say anything about it because we'll get to training camp and get a couple of guys nicked up and it'll be the complete opposite.
From seeing Justin Hunter on the tape from last year and then you see him physically this year, how much different physically does he look as far as the weight he put on?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say from the standpoint of what I saw on tape last year. It's hard to compare it because now I'm actually getting a chance to see him and work with him, and I'm excited about Justin. I think he's been working hard, but I think he's got to bring his game to a whole new level to understand what he can be, and that's what's exciting about him. He's working hard, and hopefully he'll continue on that track.
Why is it advantageous for a guy who's maybe wiry to put on some extra pounds for this league?
Well, if you look at the trend in this league, there's a lot. The cornerbacks are getting a lot bigger outside, and they're more physical. A lot of them are at the line trying to jam them. So you've got to be able to release off that. And if you're stronger while maintaining your flexibility and your quickness, that can help you compete for it.
He pretty good at basketball too, as we saw last week. High flying above the rim, dunking. As far as football players being active like that in other sports in their off season, do you guys talk to them about that to try to say be careful about certain things that you do away from football?
Yeah, you talk about that. Although I think in what you're talking about, that was a 9-foot rim. At least that's what I was told. So, but yeah, I think they're athletes. They're competitive. You want them to be smart. And certainly I think with some of the things that have happened the last couple of years with guys in those situations, they need to be aware of that.
You're a little down in your running back numbers right now. And a guy like Antonio Andrews, who comes in with all sorts of stats. good chance for him to maybe show it a little bit more on this level right now?
Well, you really don't get a chance to show that till we get the pads on or even in the preseason games, but what he's getting a chance to do is get reps so that he can build trust that he's going to do the right thing. You know, he's going to make the right reads, he's going to do the right thing in protection, and ultimately that's what these guys are fighting for, is a chance to show that in the preseason. So, you know, there's got to be a trust factor built up. He's in a good situation because he's getting a lot of reps, so he's getting better prepared.
Similarly, Brian Robisky's a guy who's bounced around. What did you like about him enough to convince you to bring him in?
He's a veteran player that multiple positions that can do a lot of everything. So those guys are a valuable piece of it. You know, how he fits special teams wise, where he fits positional wise, those things are up to him. He's going to get an opportunity to show that, and it's good to have those type of guys.
Speaking of special teams, Bonani, I don't know how much you've gotten a chance with all the other people you need to look at here, but you know, with Baronis being gone, I mean, that was those big pieces of this team. And how do you guys go about trying to replace what Rob was able to do here for so many years?
Well, we've got two kickers. You know, we're going to give them an opportunity to compete for it, and we're going to pick the best one. And usually with that position, the way it's going now, you know, there'll be opportunities if we don't feel comfortable with what we have here. I like the way Mike has been working. The young guy that we've got in here as a free agent, he hasn't been able to be here because of school commitments, but there'll be plenty of opportunities this summer to see.
Is it nerve-wracking at all in any way when you lose a veteran who you knew pretty much every Sunday he was going to get the job done, and now you've got some guys who are inexperienced?
That's part of the process. That happens in this league. You know, it's a chance for these young guys to step up. And, you know, right now, until we get an opportunity for them to have some kicks, it's really hard to say one way or another. I think that that's the natural progression in this league, and it's an opportunity for them. Appreciate what Rob brought for this team. He did a great job. But, you know, it's a chance for a younger guy to step up and see what he can do.
Coach, you got a pretty cool day for early June here. Do you kind of wish it was a little warmer?
No, I mean, I was more interested in seeing how they worked today, and they worked good. You know, I'm sure they were happy. To me, it really doesn't matter because who knows what you're going to play in, and we're going to have enough days over the next couple of weeks that it's not going to really matter.
Second week of OTAs, do you up the intensity? Do you get on them more? Do you expect more? You call them out more, or anything else?
Well, I would hope that we don't have to up the intensity because it's pretty good already. But and it was good today. I think that obviously one of the things that you have to make sure that they understand is we're going to install more things, but that doesn't mean that what we did last week, you can forget about that. So the pressure is going to continue to build on them to perform as we continue to put more and more things in. And the ones that are successful in it, they're the ones that are going to get the opportunities.
How do you decide when to put in what you put in?
We have an installation schedule. You're talking about for offense and defense and those kind of things. And it's special teams, Nate's just a wild card, so he's going to put all kinds of things in. But yeah, we have a progression that we put in. And obviously what we try to do, I shouldn't say obviously, what we like to do is try to get everything in before we get out of here after the last mini camp and then go back through it again at the start of training camp. So your second time through it, supposedly you're supposed to be better at it, so hopefully that'll be the case.
What are you seeing in the progress of the younger cornerbacks like Bleedy and Cody? Do you have an idea of where you want to go with each one inside, one outside, or is that the work in progress?
We're going to keep looking at them. I tell you what I am. I like the way they're both working. You feel comfortable about one of the guys separating themselves, but it's going to be close. They're both good young players. They're both working hard. I appreciate the way they approach it. They've got some good leaders in that secondary that they, I'm sure, have learned from, in George and Griff, and obviously in Bernard, and that's a part of it. So I think there's a good chemistry with that group. They're confident, which you have to be to play that spot, but we're going to require them to be flexible because, you know, who knows where we're going to need them at what spots during the course of the year.
Do either of them have different strengths, or are they fairly similar?
You know, I like both of them. They're both good-sized guys. They're athletic. They're smart. So I like the competition between those two.
Historic right here. I'm watching this. There we go.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Ken Whisenhunt talking about Titans OTAs, which continue on this week, and a huge boost to this team during organized team activities has been the fact that Jake Locker has been available for all parts. He's been able to go into the team sessions. Of course, he's coming off a Liz Frank injury from last season that cost him the last half of the year, forced him to go under surgery. And when I talked to doctors at that time, the question was if he'd be able to come back, not just for OTAs, but for the start of training camp next year. So Jake has been an incredibly quick healer to get out there, and that obviously helps you when you're trying to install a new offense to have your starting quarterback on the field. So Jake Locker taking part in OTAs now halfway through and feeling good about where he and the team is at.
Ultimately, just trying to do whatever he can to help us have success. And like I said, just kind of has a good grasp on what we're trying to accomplish offensively.
And you saw what he did with Mike Glennon last year.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's always a testament to a football coach when he has the opportunity to have a young player and find ways for them to have success in such a tough league.
Yeah.
As you guys look for numbers in your wide receiving core, I mean, you've been around Mark a lot. I know he's been hurt a lot, but there's some familiarity there.
Yeah, he's a guy that you know what you're going to get from him every day. He works hard, and Mark's a guy that I think for a few years now, some people maybe have written him off, and he always finds a way to make it work. He's a competitor. He's a great teammate, and a guy that I've really enjoyed playing alongside and look forward to playing alongside again.
You spent some time in the training room with him, I'm sure. I mean, you guys, has there been a bond that's kind of developed? I mean, as you guys both tried to come back?
Yeah, I think that we've always been pretty good buddies, and we've kind of gone through similar struggles the last couple of years. So, you're able to find somebody that kind of understands what you're going through, and easier to talk to them sometimes about that kind of stuff.
Hey, like your receiving group as a unit. You missed a couple guys from last year, but you got 3 that are back. How you describe how you guys overall are there?
I think it's a good unit for us. I think it's a unit that gives us a lot of different types of players, and I think that that's important. It allows them to kind of specialize in certain routes, certain concepts, and really kind of own those, and I think that that's kind of what makes them dangerous as a group.
You're in a process as you work your way back from injury. You feel a heck of a lot better this week than you did last week.
Yeah,
you feel just a gradual improvement each time you're out there?
Yeah, I think throughout the course of the week it's working through some soreness and getting it warmed up in the morning, and then being able to go out and perform during practice, and then having those 3 days on the weekends to kind of recover and let everything kind of calm down and heal up has been really helpful. I've always felt really good on Monday, and then each week progressively gets better with the soreness is less and less, and it's easier to come back the next day and the next day. So, just really excited about the progress that I've been able to make.
That right foot, that's the lead foot, that's the gas pedal. Are you going to be ready tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. No, I might tape a brick to it just so that, I'm always full go out there, but I'm excited about it. It should be a fun event.
You actually race? You actually get in a cart?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't have a go-kart function and not get in the car. That wouldn't be right of me.
Do you have experience on the track? Or is
I don't know. I haven't been to this track. I've heard it's pretty fast, but I have not done an indoor track. It's been my first time on an indoor track.
You have to sign kind of a waiver in case
I'm sure there's waivers that have to be signed. Yeah.
What about your pit crew? I mean, Charlie looks like he's been around the track a ton.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something. Maybe run tryouts before we go tomorrow and just see what's going to be the best opportunity for me to win. Maybe call a few of the NASCAR guys, see if they got a guy or two that could loan me for the day, but we'll see.
Jake, when you saw Justin Hunter for the first time since last season, could you visibly notice if he was bigger?
Yeah, I think he's made an effort, conscious effort to gain weight and become more of a physical presence, and you can notice it, and I think that it's showing up on the field for him. So he's just got to continue to work and develop on and off the field, and he does that, which is exciting to see as a teammate.
Mark was talking, Marianne, about the volume of stuff now, and then Charlie said it's not necessarily that the playbook's going to be that big, but that they're giving you guys everything now. Have you ever had this much at this point in the?
I don't think so. I think this is the most, but surprisingly, I feel like I have been able to have ownerships of parts of it quicker than I have other things in the past. So, with feeling really confident in protection, making protection changes and calls, feeling really confident with, making some dummy calls here and there and doing things like that I hadn't been as comfortable doing before. So, there is a lot of stuff, but I think that the way we've gone about it has really kind of allowed you to move quickly with it.
You said take ownership. Why? What makes it different this time?
I couldn't put my finger on it exactly. I think that I just have been able to find a rhyme and a reason for a lot of things that we're doing, and it makes sense, and it's easy, and not easy, but it hits my brain a certain way, and I've had a comfort level with it. And now I'm still got a long ways to go and a lot of work to do within it, but just excited about kind of what we've been able to do and where we've been able to go as a group thus far.
And so you would say, I guess, right now today, a lot better than this time last week as far as the install?
Yeah, I think so. And it's another big day. We put in a lot of red zone stuff today that we hadn't had in yet. So that's the other thing. I think a testament to this team and how these guys are preparing daily in the offseason, essentially. I mean, coming in and having 20 new plays in a day isn't easy, but going out and being able to execute them full speed against the defense, it's nice to know that it means that much to your teammates, and everybody's spending that much time away from this building to understand what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish.
How important is next year's level when you put that many defenses?
Yeah, I think Coach mentioned it today, and intensity's been great throughout practice, and that's usually the first thing that goes when you're thinking a lot. Things slow down, and I don't think we've had that to a large extent thus far.
So do you feel a different buzz in this locker room?
There's always a lot of excitement, I think, this time of year, and no different this year. We're excited about this group of guys we have. We're excited about the coaching staff. We're excited about kind of where we're going as a group and a unit, and looking forward to what has in store for us.